out, served on my board for over 10 years. And oftentimes I needed his vote on important issues. So I would start my presentation to the board with one small step. I didn't always get his vote, but I did a lot of the time. But I think as you look back, one of the things you see is the link between prosperity and electricity. And quite frankly, that's what the rest of the world sees. And that's why they're working to make sure that 1.6 billion people have access to electricity, because it's tied to future prosperity. And as you look at the future, we're going to go from 6.5 billion people today to 9 billion people, and all of them are going to want to have access to electricity in the future. That's where we've been. Let me talk now briefly about where we're going. We're in a much different world. There are many uncertainties, as I talked about before. And I believe that our mission will change from being universal access. I think we'll redefine our mission. We're in the middle of seeing a redefinition of the role of the federal government and state government with respect to energy policy. The feds are trying to take control of what's been local control over energy policy in each of our states by mandates. Mandates on renewable energy standards. Mandates on this and that and the other. And so one of the things that makes this transformation difficult for us is we're in a world where the regulators and their missions are changing, and the battle is ongoing in the background because we're regulated both at the state and federal level in terms of who has the power, who makes the decisions, what is the way forward. The other provocative thought that I would share with you is who will be our customer in the future? You say, well, your business model is generation, transmission, distribution, stops at the meter. But I suggest to you that given the advance of technology, our customers in the future may be the devices within the homes and businesses. You just may pay the bill. And I say that to you to get you thinking about how our mission is going to change and what we're going to do in the future. I believe we'll have three missions in the future. One is driven by this simple fact. By 2050, virtually every power plant we own today will be retired and replaced. So we've got to completely rebuild our fleet. We get to do in 40 years what has happened in the last 70 years. And that's why I've been an advocate for getting the rules clear, getting the roadmap in place with respect to SOx, NOx, mercury, and carbon, because I want to make sure I'm building something that lasts for 50 years. Because we're capital intensive, we make bets on technology and fuels, and when we build a plant, we expect it to last 50 to 60 years. So I want clarity as much as possible about what the rules of the road will be going forward. But I think our mission is to modernize, decarbonize our generation fleet in the next 40 years. I think the other challenge that we have is to modernize our aging distribution network. We have a distribution network was built on analog, which was the technology then. Now we're moving to digital, and that simply means two-way communication. We don't know when the lights are out or where the lights are out until a customer calls. But with two-way communication, we'll be able to know that. But we also will be able to predict when a capacitor is going out and do preventative maintenance and limit the number of outages that we have today, even though the reliability of our service is very high. But even more importantly, With a digital network, we will be able to optimize the use of electricity, not just in the grid, but I have a vision. And the vision is that we will redefine the boundaries of our business. Take North Carolina. Rather than looking at solar as a disruptive technology that takes away the opportunity of me providing electricity to the home, we successfully convinced our regulators to allow us to invest in solar. So when I go to a customer's home in North Carolina, I say, I would like to put solar on your rooftop. I will pay you to use your rooftop. I will take our money and I will buy the equipment, I will install it, I will operate it, I will dispatch it, I will roll it into the cost of our coal and nuclear fleet. And so you don't have to pay extra. But we learn how to operate with intermittent power on our grid, which really is part of the future. But we also are in a position to be a leader in the deployment of solar technology in the same way we were a leader in the deployment of nuclear technology in the 50s and 60s, and the way we want to be a leader in deploying advanced clean coal technologies in this century. So again, it was a step forward, but it can only happen when you have a digital grid. The last mission that I see for our industry, and this redefines the boundaries even further, and goes back to my provocative point about the customer may be the device. I believe that our mission should be to help our communities become the most energy efficient in the world. We can do that. We can make that happen. The technologies are now being developed. We're doing pilots. I'll give you an example of one pilot. We did a pilot with 100 customers. We put a battery in near the transformer. We had some solar panels. We put sensing devices within their refrigerators and their dishwashers and other devices within the home. And by the way, the number of devices in a home in 1980 was only 3 electric devices. Today, there's 25. And so what we really did is put these devices in, and what we did, and let me give you just kind of an example, when somebody would turn on the dishwasher, we would delay the dishwasher coming on till we cycled down the refrigerator. At the end of the day, we were able to reduce our customers' usage 20% on the peak, and they never saw any difference in the quality of service. So we have the money, and our company alone has raised $8 billion at less than 5% in the last 2 years, and we just issued $500 million of debt last week at 3.75%. It's the lowest loan debt that we've ever issued in our industry since we started keeping records in 1962. We have the cheaper capital than our customers, and I just as soon invest $12 billion in the homes of the customers that we have, residential and business, as $12 billion in a nuclear plant if I have the right regulatory regime that allows me to earn off that investment and help our customers control their use of electricity, and at the end of the day, reduce our need to build more power plants. Because the most environmentally benign plant you ever build is the one you don't build. And so what we are trying to do is say that our business boundary doesn't stop at the meter, it stops at the device. And that we're going to have the capability going forward to be able to optimize within a home, understand the algorithms, write the software, to optimize one home, optimize a neighborhood, optimize residential customers against industrial customers, optimize all those customer classes against the grid. And to me,